Okay, you need to subtract in Microsoft Excel. I'm going to look at quite a few examples in this video. To navigate between the examples, use the table of contents in the description below. So at its most basic level, you need to click into a cell where you want your subtraction result. You start with an equal sign. So the equal sign you'll find at the top of your main keyboard. Then type in your first number. Then minus. And your minus symbol is either to the left of the equal sign or on your numeric keypad. Now my numeric keypad shows the minus symbol there, but you might find it at the top of the numeric keypad. So anyway, we need a minus symbol there, and then you type in your second number. So once I've got those two numbers, I press enter and it performs the subtraction for me. Now a better way of doing this formula would be to store those two numbers in separate cells, and then your formula would start with an equals again, but rather than typing 102 into the formula, you click into the cell that contains that value. Then you need your minus symbol, and then you click it into the cell that contains the second value. So if I press enter, I get the same result, but the advantage of using this method is if I change this number, this formula automatically updates. And if I change this value, the formula will also update. So using cell addresses in your formula is better practice than hard coding the values within the formula. By using cell addresses, you're future-proofing your calculation and therefore your spreadsheet. Now in this example, I need to subtract the 2021 value from the 2022 value to calculate the difference between the 2 years' sales. So I'm starting in the difference column and I type in an equals, then I click into the 2022 value, put my minus symbol in, and I click in the 2021 value. Press enter to confirm and I get the difference. Now I need to do the same for the other products, but what I can do is copy this formula down the rest of this difference column. And I can do that by double clicking on this green square that appears bottom right of the cell. Now, when you place your mouse pointer over that green square, your mouse pointer changes from a fat white cross to a thin black cross. Now, once you see that thin black cross, just double click and it will copy the formula down. Now, if the double clicking doesn't work, place your mouse pointer over the green square, hold down your left mouse button and drag the formula down. Now we could do the same thing for rows. I want to compare Bob's sales with Bill's sales. So I start with an equals, I click into Bob's value minus Bill's value. Now what I can do is copy this formula across this row, and I do so by placing my mouse pointer over the green square, bottom right of the cell, and dragging the formula across. In this next example, I need to discount all of these prices by £5, and the £5 is stored in this cell here. Now what we could do is just say equals the price for product 1 minus 5. And if I copied that down, it would work. Now, what might be quite nice is if I changed this discount to say £8, then all of the discounted prices automatically updated. And that's not happening at the moment because we've hard coded the 5 into the formula. So this is how you should write the formula. You'd say equals the price minus the £5. So we're referring to the cell address of the discount amount. Now if I press enter, you can see it automatically applies the discount. And if I change the discount to 8, it would update the discounted price automatically. But what if I copy this formula down? And you'll see that it hasn't actually applied the discount to the other products. Now if I look into this first formula that we've copied down, you'll see that the cell addresses have also moved down the sheet. So whereas my first formula was B3 minus F2, the formula is now B4 minus F3. And if I look down here, you can see that the cell addresses have moved even further down the sheet. Now the solution for this is to lock this cell address so that it doesn't move down the sheet as we copy our formula. And you can do that by putting dollars in the cell address. Now, one of the easiest ways of putting dollars in the cell address is to use the F4 key at the top of your keyboard. Now, if F4 doesn't work, you might need to use the function key, the Fn key, in conjunction with the F4 key. If that doesn't work, just type in the dollars as I've got them there. So if I press enter and now copy this formula down, you can see it applies the discounts to all of the products. And again, if I change this discount to say £3, it would reapply the discount to these values. Now, Excel 365 makes this slightly simpler for you. If I just delete the current formulas, what you could do is you could say equals, and rather than just selecting one of the prices, select all of them, and then say minus the discount. And if you press enter, it will give you all of the discounted prices. So we didn't need to use dollars because we didn't need to copy the formula. Now, another way we could apply a discount to multiple values is to use the paste special method. Now, to use this method, you copy the value that you want to subtract from other values. So I'm just going to say Control C to copy this value. Then you select the cells that you want to subtract that value from, right click, paste special, subtract, and then click on OK. And you can see that it's applied that discount. To get rid of the marching ants around this discount value, just press Escape on your keyboard. Okay, in this example, we want to subtract the sum of these two columns. So Bob's total sales across these 6 months minus Bill's total sales. Now, one way to do this would be to type equals sum, open bracket, and then select all of Bob's sales values, close bracket, and then say minus sum, open bracket, and select all Bill's sales values. Close the bracket and press enter. Now, if you have Excel 365, do a slightly simplified version of it. You can say equals sum, open bracket, all of Bob's sales values minus all of Bill's sales values. Close the bracket and press enter, and you'll get the same answer. So in this example, we're going to subtract multiple cells from one cell. So this is our turnover. And we want to subtract these values from this turnover. Now, the way to do this would be to type equals the turnover minus sum, open bracket, and then select the cells that you want to subtract from your turnover. Close the bracket, press enter, and you get your total. So this example is very similar to the last, except the values that we want to subtract from our turnover are in fact minus values. So this is actually simpler to achieve. You type equals sum, open bracket, and then just select all of the values. So the turnover and the values you are subtracting from the turnover. And that will give you your result. Now in the last example, we want to subtract figures within tables. So I've got Bob's sales and Bill's sales. And I want to create another table, Bob versus Bill. So first of all, we're going to do this for product 1 in January. We would say equals down in the table that we want all the results. And you click into the corresponding cell in your first table, minus, and then you click into the corresponding cell in the second table. And then if you press enter, you'll get the result. So now what you can do is copy the formula down, let go, and then copy across, and you'll get all of the results. Now, if you're in Excel 365, you can do things slightly differently. You can say equals all of Bob's figures minus all of Bill's figures. Press enter, and it will lay out all the calculations for you in your results table. Okay, that's all I wanted to cover in this particular video. Hopefully that's useful. If it is, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll see you next video.